obviously we know that Hamilton is coming back to Puerto Rico, or coming to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And you're making an announcement about where the proceeds will go. So what have you guys decided to do?
Well, a couple of things. One, we always intended for Hamilton to come to Puerto Rico. I think the second we got a good review in the New York Times, I thought, oh, great, we're going to have a tour, and I'm going to get to bring Hamilton to Puerto Rico. You know, my first show in the Heights, we were the first equity tour ever to go to Puerto Rico. I think that show had such significance for the island, and I felt so proud to jump back into my role when we did it in Puerto Rico then. So I knew I wanted to repeat that with Hamilton, and that was even before Hurricane Maria. And then when Hurricane Maria happened, we just sort of doubled down on that commitment. And we all, and when I say we all, I mean the creative team of Hamilton, the producers, we said, okay, like, we're still going. Now the focus needs to be not making a dime on Hamilton, Puerto Rico, but how can we help? And what is the best way for us to help the island in the wake of this? You know, we are in a time right now where there's so much bad news coming out of the island, from FEMA sort of admitting its mistakes and how unprepared it was for the magnitude of the storm, to sort of, you know, bad news all over. And so for our purposes, we decided to partner with an organization called Flamboyant, which is an amazing, you know, well-reputed organization on the island, and we're going to create this arts fund. It's the Flamboyant Arts Fund, and the goal is basically, as Puerto Rico slowly recovers from Hurricane Maria and gets back on its feet, not to leave behind the artists. You know, they're always the ones that are not a part of the conversation when it comes to recovery, when it comes to employment. And so we're starting with a round of grants, and basically every penny that gets made at Hamilton will go to this this arts fund to sort of help revive arts. And when I say arts, I mean cultural institutions, dance companies, theater companies, independent artists, and I'm really excited to be able to sort of help in that way.
What do you say if people think, well, gosh, Puerto Rico has so many needs? Why fund the arts? Isn't that kind of a luxury when you're in such a time of need?
Yeah, well, first of all, full stop, yes. Puerto Rico has so many needs. And that's why since Hurricane Maria hit, I've been partnering with the Hispanic Federation. I feel so grateful that we've raised, at this point, $41 million, and it started emergency, short-term sort of needs, water, food, and has slowly developed into this program we called Amanece, and that's long-term needs, multi-year grants, everything from water filtration systems. One of the first things we did was fund health centers and get health centers up and running, because 1 in 10 Puerto Ricans on the island go to health centers for their care. We are working on the solarization of all of the healthcare centers we've partnered with. So the work with Puerto Rico doesn't stop. The work with the Federation doesn't stop. On the contrary, that need is as urgent as it ever was, and this is another need. You know, this is just sort of taking on an additional lane.
I mean, you don't want to forget the arts. I mean, right. You don't want to forget culture and heart, and that can often be something that's lost and hard to revive.
I'll give you a great example. Yeah. One of the things we did at the end of last year was we realized Three Kings Day is coming up, and so much of the island is still without power. We partnered with lots of organizations and created this Three Kings Day toy drive. And one of the best benefits of that toy drive was we employed so many actors and singers and performers to be the Three Kings, bringing these toys. And we heard from so many artists saying, I haven't had work in months, and we got to bring toys to children. And so, you know, I think the arts reflect where we are as a society, and I think a healthy arts promotes that. And it's so important to get a sense of normalcy back in Puerto Rico. I have a good friend, a rapper named PJ Sinzuela, who's been doing concerts, free concerts all over the island, and what a release that is from the stress when you're still on generators and when you're still waiting for a sense of normalcy to return. So the arts is a part of that, and it's such an important job sector, and it's important to the lifeblood of the island.
Don't you think there's something about bringing Hamilton, which is one of the most successful, if not the most successful Broadway show ever, to Puerto Rico, that is just saying to Puerto Rico, you matter. We care.
Absolutely, and it's important to have eyeballs on Puerto Rico all the time. There is no shortage of things in the news to occupy anyone's attention, and our goal is to bring a lot of tourism, bring a lot of eyeballs, and then make money for folks on the island who need it.
Have you thought about opening night and what it'll be like?
I am
to be there.
I am 50% excited, 50% terrified. I have to tell you, performing in the Heights, 8 years ago in Puerto Rico was really one of the most important weeks of my life artistically. When you're someone who grows up. Your parents are both from somewhere else, and they're both from the island, and you grow up here in this neighborhood. You're kind of like, well, I pull up that flag and I go to that parade, but would I be embraced? Yes. Or would my work be embraced on the island? Yeah, is it home for me? I mean, that's a big question everyone in the Heights is actually struggling with in that show, and it's a question that any first-generation kid wrestles with. And so that was such a homecoming that completed a circle that I didn't know needed to be closed. And so, with Hamilton, it's that much more amplified. The need is so much greater on the island. And now that we know every dollar is going to help the island, it just feels that much more, I don't know. I really, it's very hard to talk about without tearing up, because we always intended to go, and now the need is just so much greater.
One of the things that's so special about it is that you are going to be playing Hamilton again. So my first question is, do you still know all the words?
I'm pretty sure my shot is well lodged in there. I think there is some Act 2 blocking I need to go over, and I'll need the rehearsal, because, you've seen the show. If you space out for a second or don't know where you are for a second, you're going to fall off the turntable. You're going to get hit in the head with a chair. So there's not, the other sort of thing I'm really looking forward to is when I was in Hamilton in that first crazy year when my life changed and I got to talk to folks like you, the most peaceful 3 hours of my day were when I was on stage. Because your only job is to be Hamilton. And I have a pretty hectic life, and I'm really grateful for that life, and I'm grateful for every blessing that's come my way, but I'm also looking forward to, this sounds crazy, the zen of getting to just be Alexander Hamilton for 2 hours and 45 minutes every day.
And anyone who's actually seen the show knows what an extraordinary statement that is.
Yes.
Because that's like riding a roller coaster on a Ferris wheel, on a high wire act trapeze.
But it's a 14-course meal for an actor. You get to do all the things. You get to fall in love, you get to win a war, you get to have an affair, you get to experience loss, you get to experience friendship, and to ride, that ride is to live a whole life in miniature. And so I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to doing that for my people.
Now you're going to make me cry. Okay, shallow question. Are you going to be growing out the hair?
I think I'm wigging up. I think it's too late. I think I've had a haircut too recently to get back where I was in 6 months. We have a guy named Chuck. He's the best wig guy in the business. You will think it is my old Hamilton hair. But yeah, that's the plan.
Is there any plan to have some of the original cast members there?
Well, I do have to tell you, it's one of the most beautiful things, and this is a Puerto Rico story. This makes me cry, is the day we made the announcement, I think I heard from every Latino member of our cast, being like, if you need me, I am there. Anthony Ramos, Tainari Vasquez. And then the other exciting component of that is that we've had lots of casting calls on the island. So I'm hoping we find some homegrown talent to be in the show as well. We're still in the very early process of casting that, which will be another tour. It'll play in Puerto Rico for 3 weeks, and then it will come to the States. I don't know about original cast members, but I have to tell you, a lot of hands went up, and that was really humbling and moving to me.
I was trying to catch up. I have to actually look at my phone because I was writing down all of the things that you are involved in right now. Hey, I actually have to look at my phone to go through this.
Yeah.
You are going to be making your featured directorial debut, Tick, Tick, Boom. You're going to be a director of a movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah, here's the thing with that. If they only ever let me make one, because you know how, Hollywood sometimes work, I want it to be Tick, Tick, Boom. That story is so important to me. I saw that show my senior year in college when I was a theater major about to enter the real world, and it was like a sneak preview of what my 20s were going to look like. Here's how hard it is. Here's how joyous it is. Here's what you're in for, kid, said Jonathan Larson to me. And I think it's such an incredible score, and it's such a universal story about figuring out your path. And if they only ever let me make one, let this be the one.
It's the perfect project for you.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go. You're starring in Mary Poppins Returns.
Yes.
With Emily Blunt and Meryl Streep.
Yes.
You've got a kid's
They're
book.
up-and-comers. I think you're going to be hearing a lot from them.
Hope they land on their feet.
Yeah, I think they're young and hungry. They're going to make it happen.
You have a book coming out.
This is entirely at the request of Twitter. So I say good morning and good night on Twitter, and I've been finding increasingly elaborate and empathetic ways to say it because I feel like I need it. I need positive voices on social media these days, and I finally got so many requests, you have to make this a book, you have to make this a calendar, that I put a poll in the field. I said, do you really? People responded positively. And then Jonathan Sun, who is one of the lights of Twitter, I mean, really is usually the only bright spot in my feed on some days, texted me. And he said, I have so many thoughts. And then that's when I realized, oh, this could be actually a really cool thing, because he's an incredible illustrator, and so he's illustrating the tweets.
So it's a picture book, but it's not just for kids. It's for
Yeah,
everybody.
it's
like daily affirmations.
Yeah, although,
Does that sound kind of maybe too...
I don't know. I think they're more like pep talks. And honestly, the ones that resonate with people the most are often the ones I need to hear the most. It'll be something about, I may not have slept because of my child the night before, and I will write something that's just like, this is what I wish someone would tell me. And those are the ones that are like, man, I needed to hear that today. And
I remember reading one that you wrote after the deaths of Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
And it really touched me.
Yeah.
And I think you just said, you should stick around. We want you here. We need you here.
And because I felt that, and I was so stunned by those losses as well. I think that anyone who reads Kitchen Confidential or sees Anthony Bourdain's work feels a little more adventurous about the world. They're just a little braver than before they met him and before they encountered their work. And I felt braver anytime I watched his show or read one of his books. And so that felt like a really profound loss, and so that was what came out of me that morning, because I had been reading just, tribute after tribute and sort of stunned reaction after stunned reaction.
So much has changed for you because of Hamilton. I mean, people do tend to forget that your first musical won the Tony, so it's not like, well, let's hope he lands on his feet, you know what I mean? But I mean, your life has changed so much in the few years since Hamilton came out.
Yeah.
How are you just staying you?
I have really great friends. I have an incredible wife who is a superhero. The things that were important that I needed not to change didn't change. The people that are around me, I'm talking to you on 175th Street. I'm going to live here until they cart me out of here. I wrote a whole show about how I don't want to leave this neighborhood. And I think that, honestly, I think I'm trying to take the right lessons from the success of Hamilton, which is not the trappings of success, but hey, the best idea I ever had came on vacation. So maybe calm down and take a breath, Lynn. And a lot of the writing on that happened because my wife said, hey, you're not getting anything done. You're getting too distracted and stuff. Let's go take a vacation. I wrote King George's song on our honeymoon. It's really, I have incredible friends and family around me who keep me sane.
But are you ever pinching yourself like, I know all these famous people, and they want to know me.
Yeah, well, I pinch myself all the time. I mean, that's the other secret addiction of social media. Part of it is just being a theater person and having an audience in your pocket is dangerous. That's a dangerous thing for us.
Ready to
Full
perform.
stop, like, I have some thoughts. But the other thing is this notion that you can send this little word balloon into space and someone you admire greatly can hit a like on it or say something back. That is so intoxicating, and I've made for real friends. I mean, the book I'm doing with Johnny is a testament to those. We all made friends through sending words at each other on our phones. That's crazy.
This is the upside of social media. This makes us feel better about it.
Yeah, there are moments of connection that I would not have had anywhere else in the world.
Tell me about this new baby, Francisco.
Oh, Francisco.
Is he delicious?
He's delicious. He's a perfectly spherical boy.
He's a roundy.
He's a roundy, and he is just starting to roll over, which I find amazing. I find the physics of it incredible because he's such a round little boy. But it's delightful, and our oldest son loves being a big brother. He is a monologist, so to have an audience for him is great.
So he likes to give monologues?
Yeah, he's going to hold forth, and
like,
he's going to...
You're throwing me a Lin-Manuel Miranda word. Okay, got it.
He's going to tell Frankie all the things he needs to know, and so that's good.
He's going to tell Frankie's story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
To borrow a line from Hamilton.
Yeah, exactly.
Who tells your story?
Yeah.
And how Sebastian likes him?
Sebastian likes him.
Yeah.
They're good.
So far?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, yeah, the only sort of thing that's changed is like our bed is just Noah's Ark because Sebastian sort of is old enough to wander into our bed at 2, 3 in the morning. We have our dog in the bed. The baby is in the bed. My wife and I are on opposite sides of the bed waving to each other from this Noah's Ark Tetris that is happening.
Everybody wants to be there. It's a hot spot.
Yeah, so it's a party. It's a party at night. We're all very tired.
Exactly. So it's funny because you were saying Vanessa's the one who made you go on vacation.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I don't see happening in your future anytime soon.
But I do.
Yeah, you
I
do. You get some time.
Yeah, I get some time, and I take social media breaks. I take for real breaks because that's the only way it happens. That's the only time I find that's the only time the really good ideas emerge. That's the only way I know how to do it. It's like you get asked for advice for like, how do you do 8 shows a week? And the thing I always tell singers is there's no substitute for sleep. You could get the sprays and you could get, a fancy lozenge, but like you have to sleep.
Yeah.
You have to sleep. And the same is true, I think, of a creative life. You have to rest, because in the moments of rest is when the good stuff comes.
Well, we want you to rest
and
work so we can see all your brilliance.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I really appreciate
Thanks.
it.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.